Quick mention, there are affiliate links in the description of this video, which I am compensated for, but there is no additional cost to you, and I appreciate your support. Now let's jump into the video. Let's talk about the best LLC services for you when you're getting set up with your LLC, and I want to save you well over $1,000 by the end of this video and explain to you why. What you can see on the screen right here is an LLC cost calculator that I've developed. You can get to this by just Googling BizBuddy LLC cost calc, or you can go to bizbuddy.com/LLC-cost, or the link is in the description below because that's a lot easier for you. Now what you do is you select your state. Like let's say you're like, I'm in Colorado, all right? This takes the top 4 LLC services and it shows you the 5-year total cost of ownership and what it looks like if you were to go with Bizee by Inc file, $1,071, compared to these services, $2,090. And just from doing research today, I realized LegalZoom is actually even higher than that now. But there's such a discrepancy. That's over $1,000 in 5 years that you're going to pay for these services. Now, from being in this space and actually purchasing LLCs from all the top services over the years, I know I'm going to get a question. Somebody's going to be like, well, what about Northwest Registered Agent? Let me explain to you why they're not on this calculator right now. If you go to their page right here, you can see they're the only service that charges a $39 fee. They do offer 1 free year registered agent service, which is cool. We'll talk about that more later in this video, what that means exactly. But the reason that they're not on here is if I click form my LLC and then you start to read the fine print, that's where it gets a little bit ugly. Like business identity, $0. You're like, what's that? And you're like, oh, cool. I get like business domain, website, hosting, email addresses, phone numbers, and it's free. Well, it's actually $9 a month individually for all those services, and it's free for 90 days. One of the things when I looked into the service that I didn't like is the business phone number. They own it. You don't get to transfer it. So they do a lot of stuff that like, it's called sludge. Like it's like their way of locking you into the service. I didn't love that. The other thing was their renewal service. When you set up your LLC, this is really important. Most states, almost all of them, a few exceptions, you have to renew your state. And it can happen on an annual level or a biannual, meaning every 2 years. What they do here is they say it costs $0. But then when you actually go down here, you can see that they're going to charge your card on file $100 plus state fee to file your report by the due date. But you pay nothing up front. And I'm like, okay. Like, I didn't need to pay anything up front because it's not due for a year. That's like if it was my birthday today and some company reached out to me tomorrow and was like, hey, if you want a free sheet pizza for your birthday next year, it's going to cost you $0. And I'm like, cool, like, let's do it. But then 90 days before my birthday, they're like, hey, it's going to be $100 for that pizza. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. So that's why Northwest Registered Agent is not on this calculator, because there is just too many things where I'm like, it's too slippery, right? It's just too sneaky. So now, look, why don't we go through this calculator, and we are going to go through the actual back-end dashboards. And like I mentioned before, I've actually purchased an LLC from all these services. It was a pain in the butt, but I went through the process because I needed to know which one's the best. So from a cost perspective, Bizee is the best. But when you select your state, right now we're on Colorado, what you can see is that it had that annual fee of $10 listed and $0 for biannual. That means with Colorado, that is going to renew your LLC. You have to renew it every single year, okay? But in your state, if you are, let's say in Alaska, then you can see it's $100 and it's biannual, meaning it's every 2 years. This is really, really important. The reason that this is important is when you get to the recurring fees down here. You can see an annual report filing. For Bizee, it's $99. Zen Business, it's $100. LegalZoom, $149. Taylor Brands, $199. Today, I just realized that LegalZoom actually increased it another $50. So this price for LegalZoom would be even higher. They're very expensive, and we'll talk about why some of these services are so expensive in a little bit. But I think it's really important that you go to the calculator and figure out if you're in a state that's every 2 years. And that's because Bizee by Inc file, they offer the ability to do this a la carte. It's not a subscription. So year 1, it's going to be $0. And then those fees start to add up in years 2, 4, 6, 8. The thing is they offer the ability to pay this as you go, where these other services are going to lock you into subscription fees for something that you only need every 2 years. All right. That's why that's so important. So when you start to add up all these numbers, together, this is where you're getting these 5-year total costs here in this last column. Now, why is there such a big difference between these services and cost? Well, here it comes down to this. LegalZoom funding received over $700 million venture funding. When you look at Taylor Brands, they're talking about they've received a total of over $70 million in funding, and they're a newer business. Zen Business, kind of crazy because they're not that old like LegalZoom. Most recently, they got $200 million. They got $55 million here. So much money in funding. But when you go, and let's say I just switch this out and I say Bizee, What is the funding? It's going to say there's zero funding because they're bootstrapped. That is why when you're looking at these differences in costs, Bizee is the only one that's bootstrapped and they do not owe their investors. When somebody invests in your company, like venture funding, they want to see 10x returns. The way that they get that is by doing stuff like LegalZoom just did, and they increased their annual report filing another $50, right? Bizee by InkFile, this is how much their annual report has been for the 5 years I've been following them. They used to be called InkFile. They rebranded to Bizee, and they've been 119 every single year going forward for the last 5 years as well, with free registered agent the first year, because they don't have investors they have to pay off. So what I want to do at this point is actually show you a little bit of the back end dashboard. But before I get to that, this is another cool feature about Bizee. They're the only one that does a one-time access code to log in. Why that's important? Well, with your LLC, any of these platforms you go into, you can actually change the name of your LLC. You can amend the LLC. You can dissolve the LLC. This is the most secure method to log into your back-end dashboard. They send you a text or they get an email from them, because your password is not going to be compromised, because they're going through the extra lengths to be more secure. And that is something that I really appreciate. So then once you go into your back-end dashboard, it's pretty much a command center with Bizee on the left-hand side here, where you can manage stuff. You can have them set up a virtual mailbox for you. Now, these are add-ons, things like that with like business contract templates and things of that nature. But it's all managed for you in one spot. Your compliance, super important. Like I mentioned, this is where you can click learn more, and this is where you can see they offer individual filings, but all of these different things here, if you want Bizee to take care of it for $99 a year plus state fees, you're always going to pay those state fees. There's no way around that. And those are added in on the calculator, right? Like you can see the state filing fee here of Alaska's $250. And like I mentioned before, Colorado, much cheaper. So you see all of that data on the calculator, but they will do all of this for you for $99, which is way cheaper than all the other services out there. Then you can see stuff like they can handle your domain and email, state and IRS filings, websites, logos, taxes, legal, business insurance. Business insurance is we're talking about. Having an LLC helps to create a separation between your business and personal assets. That's why you get it. It limits your liability. But when you have business insurance over top, it's important, because let's say you were sued and you have $100,000 of business assets, but somebody's suing you for $500,000. That attorney's not going to say, well, okay, we can only do it for $100,000. They're going to try to get that extra $400,000 out of you. Business insurance is an extra layer of protection and security for your business. And sometimes it's really required. Like if you're like doing something high liability, like owning a roofing company, you're going to need business insurance set up. They can help you get that set up. The other thing I wanted to make mention of on here too is they have accepting payments. This is really cool. They've built their own platform where you can actually send a text and get paid via text. If you are starting a service-based business, you're a consultant, whatever it may be, make it easy for your clients to pay you money. I have one particular company that I work with. They make me mail them a check. Guess which company I'm the worst at paying on time? It's that company. Now, if I get a text or it's a one-click email that I just click and my credit card information goes in and I can pay it, I pay those things on time quicker, because they're not making it a pain in the butt to pay them. So these are the types of things that make it easier to run your business and be able to manage everything. So really for me, it just comes down to the transparency. All these services are reputable, maybe minus Northwest. I don't really love what they do, but it really comes down to the cost. Bizee's done over 1 million formations, but every 5 years, if I'm going to save $1,000 and they're offering all these other services as well in addition to that, that's the place that I want to be. And I formed an LLC with all these services, and their customer service is excellent. And I found them very easy to deal with. Now, if you'd like a more thorough kind of deep dive tutorial of the back-end dashboard for Bizee, I'm going to go into that in the next video. And again, thank you for using my links in the description below. It helps to support my YouTube channel and all this research that I do for you on these videos. So thank you for that support. I'll catch you in the next video.